Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. I almost forgot what day it was for a second. Happy Wednesday. Um, we're back with a video diary. Yesterday I did all the things except record a video. I didn't feel like filming. Like, I started my cycle yesterday. I was emotional and everything was making me cry. So I didn't want to film, but I did work out. I read. I did my yoga. I tried to journal in my actual notebook. It was okay. Definitely a little chicken scratch, but better than where I started from on Monday or Tuesday, whenever that was I last told y'all. Like, I can at least write my name. I can only do a line before. So that was nice. Also, I've been able to tie my own hair up. I've been able to better lift things and basically just have a little bit better use of this hand where it's not completely unavailable to me, which has helped me out a lot in terms of just feeling more capable and doing what I need to do. Essentially, I wish I could wash my own hair, but I cannot. And my wife has been either at work or doing babysitting after work, hustling, trying to make ends meet, y'all. Trying to make ends meet. Let me move this pillow out of here. This is my yoga / workout pillow to help me make things more comfortable when I'm doing certain positions. So I was just randomly on the floor like that, but yeah, I wish I could wash my own hair. I cannot, because I can't get my cats wet. And I definitely cannot wash all of this hair with one hand, my non-dominant hand at that. I just don't foresee that going well for my life. So whenever my wife gets a chance to detangle and wash my hair and condition it, I'm going to attempt to twist it. If I can't do it, then she's gonna twist it. The reason why I want to try to do it myself is because I want some extended twists so they can at least last the time that I'm gonna be in this cast, and all I have to do is just spray some leave-in conditioner and put some oil on my scalp. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, y'all. I don't know. We gonna see. We gonna see. I believe in me. I believe in me. I am capable. I am strong and I am resourceful, and I believe in me. So we gonna see. But I wanted to talk to y'all about a few things today. Last we left off, I was talking about how I was feeling about my mother and, working through my mother wounds and just the trauma that having this experience has brought up. Trauma that I already thought I had worked through, and things I had already thought I forgave my mom for just resurfacing. And then y'all know what's crazy in my readings? I've had a lot of people come to me talking about problems that they're having with their children, with their daughters, specifically teenage daughters. And I just find it so divine that in a time when my inner teen is being triggered, that people are coming to me for guidance with their young teenagers. And I feel like that's God. God works in mysterious ways, and that's definitely God kind of forcing my own healing, as well as letting me know, like, I am able to be my own inner mother now, and I don't have to always be seeking that energy. But I do want to share this with y'all. And I know some of y'all are gonna watch this and be like, Shawnee, I don't have no kids, let alone teenagers. I don't know what you're talking about. But there's a lot of you that come to me that do have kids. You do have teenagers, or you have kids who are young adults. And you had kids at a young age. Maybe you weren't in the best relationship when you had those kids, and now you're a single mom. I have a lot of clients who fall under that category. I don't have any children, and so I don't like to come on my public platform and try to tell y'all how to parent your kids. I'm not here to tell you how to parent your kids. But I will say that providing food, clothing, and shelter is not enough for your children to be successful humans nor adults. It's just enough for them to survive. And if that's all you provide, that's all they're going to be able to do is scratch and survive until they decide that that's no longer enough and they seek more information, seek different energy to get out of survival mode. I know that a lot of you were raised in survival mode, and so that may be all that you know, and you're like, look, I'm just trying to provide for these kids and make sure they're straight. Children need relationship. Children need emotional connection, emotional intimacy. Children need physical direction. They don't need physical discipline. I do feel like, physical discipline has its place. I don't believe you should just be hitting your kids, but, I do believe in corporal punishment for some children. I think different children need different tactics. I was one of them kids. I got whoopings, but mostly my mom ain't have to whoop me for me to get the point. She could yell at me. She could have a conversation with me. She could express her disappointment in me, and I'm going to understand and get my shit together because I don't want to disappoint my mother. I don't want her being upset with me. Every kid is not like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to tell y'all how to parent y'all kids. Every kid is different, and you need to have a different parenting style based on that child. Okay? But children need emotional intimacy. They need emotional connection. They need reassurance. They need mentorship. They need guidance. They need you to care about what they're doing and support them in the things that you may not even agree with. And that doesn't mean just let them wild out and do whatever they want to do. But if your child decides that they want to be spiritual, or your child has a certain level of promiscuity that's already in them and they already out there doing what they're going to do, you trying to pull them out of the fire and prevent them from doing what they're going to do anyways is not going to help them. It's not. All it's going to do is create trauma and drama between the two of y'all, and the kid is still going to do what they're going to do. I'm not telling you to let them do it in your house. All I'm saying is have enough respect for your child to see them as their own person. Because at the end of the day, no matter how well you raise your child, no matter what you instill in them in terms of values and principles, they have their own minds. And you are not the only influence. So with that being said, if you're not willing to hold emotional space for your child, if you're not willing to support your child's creative freedom, if you're not willing to step outside of yourself and see your child for who they are, not who you want them to be, who you wish they were, who you were as a child, you're going to create a tension that you're never going to be able to come back from after a certain age of your child. And it's just going to be drama and trauma and drama and trauma and drama and trauma until y'all go to therapy and heal it, or God forbid, until somebody die. I've seen that cycle repeat time and 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 time again. I've seen it play out in my own family. I've seen it play out with clients. I've seen it play out in friendships. I've seen it play out in certain areas of my own relationship with my mother. One thing I can say about my mother, though, she's always respected my creative freedom. And since I became an adult, I would say since probably about 20, 21, once I fully established my life on my own, she respects me as an adult. We may not always agree, and I don't feel like she holds the emotional space for me that I need. I feel like because of her own trauma, she flips things and makes everything about her and her problems and how she feels and all of that. And I feel like I've been forced to mother her and be her therapist when I needed a mama. I needed a therapist. I needed a mentor. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm taking on that role as a career because I'm good at it. I've been doing this shit since I was 4 years old. But I don't know how to let people be there for me. I don't know how to make myself vulnerable. I don't trust anybody to fully support me emotionally, nor do I trust that your chaos is not going to spill over into my life. So if I feel like your chaos is getting too close to me, what am I going to do? Withdraw. And that all stems from childhood trauma. And it creates problems in my life that I don't need and that could be avoided if my mother would have done the work that she needed to do to improve her emotional and mental health enough that she could facilitate that for me. And so for those of you whose kids are not grown yet, whose kids are not out of the house yet, whose children are still under your influence, under your roof, and you're having problems, you're going back and forth with your daughters, with your sons. I'm talking about daughters and mothers and daughters because I feel like this is happening on a larger scale at this particular time with mothers and daughters. There's something about this mother wound right now that's just manifesting. I need to look at the astrology this week again and see if it's something specific, or this month, and see if it's something specific that is causing this. But if your children are still under your influence, they still under your roof, you still have that opportunity to do the work together and to let them know, I don't have all the answers. I know I'm not doing everything right, but I want to be there for you. I want to support you. Let us do this together. Let's figure this out together. Stop being afraid to tell your kids that. You don't know everything. And y'all really will just lie to your children and pretend like everything is fine, like everything is gonna be okay, like they don't feel your energy, like they can't see what's going on with you, like they don't see your inconsistency, they don't see your anger, they don't see you crying at night because you're feeling lonely even though you're in a relationship with this man who barely claims you, who is forcing you to take care of him, barely contributing. Like, y'all act like kids can't understand, process, and see that stuff. And they can. We fucking can. We did. And we can. Like, I don't understand why. And especially in the year of 2023. These teenagers are not the same as we were when we was teenagers 15 years ago. We were advanced, granted, but these kids have access to way more stuff than we had. Way more information, way more sexuality, way more sensuality, way more programs and influences. So if I'm telling y'all as a 31-year-old woman, if I'm telling y'all when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 even, if I'm telling y'all I still needed my mother, I still needed somebody to say, I see what you're doing a great job, let me connect you with this person that can maybe help you and nurture that in you. I still needed somebody to say, I'm sorry that I have brought you into all of my chaos and we've had to go through our growing pains together because I had you at a young age. And I understand how my trauma and drama has affected you, and I'm sorry for that. And I know you might be a little traumatized. So let me hold space for you. Let me nurture you. Let me redirect some of that energy into a positive channel. If I'm telling y'all I still needed that, what do y'all think these 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds are feeling like? Because you can can definitely compare 12 to 15 these days to 15 to 19 when we was growing up. For sure. And so, you know, this the title of this is Discipline to Dominion Video Diary. But really, this is a message to mothers. This is a message to mothers. Y'all, please understand me when I say, if you're not taking care of your mental and emotional health, you cannot be a good mother. You cannot. You're not going to have the capacity to be able to do so. And y'all can tell me whatever y'all want to say. I don't care. The truth of the matter is, if you are not taking care of your mental and emotional health, you cannot be a good parent. You can provide for your children. Make sure they have a roof, make sure they have food, make sure they have clothes and shelter. That is not something to take lightly, because it's not easy to do, especially if you have multiple kids. Hell, I have a hard time taking care of myself and my wife sometimes. We have a hard time taking care of each other. We don't even have no kids. So I can only imagine having 2 kids, 3 kids, plus having to take care of taking care of a household of 5 or 6 people. It's stressful. It's draining, just financially. I know. But you need to think about how your children feel, because their feelings are going to have a direct relationship with the patterns and paradigms that they create for themselves. And if you're not paying attention to how your children feel, if you're not paying attention to what they need mentally and emotionally speaking, your child is going to be lost. And then you're going to be frustrated trying to figure out, how did we get to this point? How do we get to the point where my child is running away? How do we get to the point where my child thinks it's okay to disrespect me? How do we get to the point where my child don't even want to talk to me? How do we get to the point where my child is out here doing X, Y, and Z? Because they will act out. And it's a cry for help. It's a cry for attention. It's a cry for, I want more and I don't know how to get it. So let me just go over here and do this. And I fully believe that we are children until we are 25, because I damn sure thought I was grown at 18, because I'm legally grown and I can get my own place and I can buy cigarettes, you know, and do all the things. I thought I was grown. I did. But now, as a 31-year-old woman, I realized I was not fucking grown until I was 25 years old. I made grown decisions. I did grown things before then. I did. But I wasn't fucking grown. I didn't know shit. I didn't know shit. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know who I was in relationships and how to love more freely. I didn't know what my pain was, what my trauma was, what my triggers were. I had some idea, but I didn't know innately like I know now. There is a certain self-awareness that comes, or that needs to come, with being an adult. And if you don't have an example of that, if you don't have anyone to nurture that in you, if you don't have a source to look to for that, you're going to be seeking in all the wrong places. And we cannot subject ourselves to that. As parents, as children, and as people, we cannot subject ourselves to that. So I want to encourage you to hold emotional space for yourself. Get the mental health that you need so that you can hold space correctly for your children. If you don't have any children and you still have emotional issues and mental issues, work through it so that you can go in and reparent your inner child properly, so that you can feel strong, capable, worthy, and deserving of the greatness that you are destined for. I feel like the whole world right now is a bunch of hurt-ass little children running around, running amok, and hurting each other. And I am sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's no reason why we have access to this much information, why we have this much access to empowerment, self-awareness, self-evolution, self-knowledge. And yet we still don't know who we are as humans, what we're here to do, and how we can better do the shit together. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous to me. And it don't make no fucking sense. I'm just tired of seeing this sickness in the world. And that is why I do what I do. Because I want to take my part in mending, healing, redirecting, correcting, deprogramming. Teaching people how to love themselves for real, how to see themselves for real, how to empower and uplift themselves for real so that they can reflect that into the surroundings around them. I'm not the richest person in the world. I don't even have a lot of money. I don't, and y'all know it. And because of that, some people may look at me and say, how am I supposed to trust you to tell me what to do with my life when you don't have everything that you want? But I have something that's worth more than money. I'm self-confident. I'm self-aware. I know how to inspire and empower myself. I have strong vision, and I'm dedicated fully to being the change that I want to see in the world. I'm willing to wake up every single day and do the work necessary spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally to be the change that I want to see in the world. It's bigger than money for me. It's about connection. It's about vulnerability. It's about evolution. This video may not be getting me paid today, but 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, who knows what's gonna happen? A year from now, hell, who knows what's gonna happen? And like I said, I might not be the richest person in the world, but everybody who has come in close proximity to me, who actually follows the guidance that I give, who actually does the work, their life has changed miraculously and dramatically. Every single person, including my wife. My wife is not a spiritual person. My wife is a Christian, okay? She's a Christian through and through. I feel like she had a calling on her life to be a minister, a youth minister. She may decide to do it 10 years from now. I don't know. But regardless, she's Christian. Straight up and down, through and through. She don't really know too much about astrology. She know a little bit here and there. She don't really do all of the ritualistic things that I do. She'll meditate with me. She'll do yoga with me. If I ask her to, she'll pray with me or read the Bible with me, you know, but she's not about to be doing full-blown rituals and seances and all the things that I do. She's not about it. But ever since me and her have gotten together, her life has changed dramatically and miraculously. She's come into herself. She's working a job, a dream job that she probably never thought she would be working at this early stage in her career. She has me, a wife who loves her, who's dedicated to her spiritually, mentally, emotionally. She has such a close relationship with her family that has improved because now they see her as her own person and not the baby of the family, and they treat her with more respect. They treat her with more compassion and understanding. She has friends and has had friends who really love her and who support her, but now she's able to better tap into those connections and appreciate them on a deeper level because she appreciates herself more. And I'm not taking all the credit for that. You know, it definitely has also come with time, maturity, wisdom. But I'm just telling y'all, like, the reason why spirituality is so important is because you need to have your own relationship with God. You need to have your own awareness of self. You need to be able to empower, inspire, and uplift yourself for evolution and be able to maintain your faith even when it feels like things are falling apart. Because this 3D reality that we live in is a fucking simulation. It's not real. These are all just projections. Projections and reflections. There's always more to the story than what we can see. And if we keep being so focused on the flesh, if we keep being so focused on what we can see, what we can put our hands on, what's tangible, we're never going to be able to expand and evolve at the rate, at the level that we should. I don't like that for us. I don't like that for me. I don't like that for y'all. I don't like that for your children. Let's agree to be better, choose better, and do better. Simply because we deserve it. Now, I have not done my reading for today, so I just feel like I might as well read to y'all. We are on The Power of Spoken Word by Florence Scovel Shinn. This chapter is called Peace and Prosperity. I read 10 pages in the morning, 10 pages in the evening, unless it's just getting good and I want to keep going. So I'm going to read 10 pages real quick, and then I'm going to pull a postcard from Spirit and end this video. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. In this statement from the 122nd Psalm, we find that peace and prosperity go hand in hand. People who are manifesting the appearance of lack are in a state of fear and confusion. They are not wide awake to their good and miss leads and opportunities. A peaceful person is a wide awake person. He sees clearly and acts quickly. He never misses a trick. I have seen people discordant and unhappy, changed completely. I will give an example in order to prove the working of the law. A woman came to me in a state of abject sorrow. She looked the part. Her eyes were blurred from constant weeping. Her face was haggard and drawn. The man she loved had left her, and she was certainly the most demagnetized creature I had ever seen. I noticed the shape of her face, large eyes far apart and a pointed chin. For many years, I was an artist and have got into the habit of looking at people from an artist's standpoint. As I looked at this forlorn creature, I thought, her face has the modeling of a Botticelli. I often see Rembrandt's, Sir Joshua Reynolds, etc., in people I meet. I spoke the word for this woman and gave her my book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. A week or two afterwards, in walked a very dashing person. Her eyes were beautiful and she was pretty. I thought, her face has the modeling of a Botticelli. Suddenly, I realized it was the same woman. She was happy and carefree. What had happened? Our talk in the book had brought her peace. Peace be within your walls. Your walls are consciousness. Jesus Christ emphasized peace and rest. Come to me, all ye that are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He was speaking of the Christ within, your superconscious mind, where there are no burdens and no battles. The doubts and fears and negative pictures are in the subconscious. When I was returning from California some years ago, I came in an airplane. In the high altitudes, I had a queer, detached feeling. In that high altitude, we were at peace with ourselves and with the whole world. In the high altitudes, the fields are always white with the harvest. Only the emotions keep you from reaping your harvest of success, happiness, and abundance. We read in the Bible, I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten. We might well paraphrase it and say, I will restore to you the years the emotions have ruined. People are rocked with doubts and fears, bringing failure, unhappiness, and disease. I read in a daily paper that the laws of the mind are being generally recognized and understood. It has been found that the fear of failure is the greatest of all fears, and at least 75% of those examined psychologically have this fear. Of course, this may refer to failure of health, failure in business, finances, love, success, etc. Other important fears are fear of the dark, fear of being alone, fear of animals. Some people fear they will be misunderstood, while others fear they are losing mental control. Constant and continued fear affects the glands, interferes with digestion, and is usually associated with the distressing nervous symptoms. It robs the body of health and destroys happiness. Fear is man's worst enemy, for you attract what you fear. It is faith turned upside down. It is really faith in evil instead of good. Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? The fearless, unfettered mind attracts to itself all good. Whatever you desire or require is already on your pathway. Before ye call, I have answered. Suppose we paraphrase the scripture and say, whatever you desire or require is already planted on your pathway. Often, a new word will give you sudden realization. If you are in need of any information, it will be given to you. A friend told me of the surprising working of the law. She was translating an old Italian manuscript on the life of an early Persian ruler. No books in English had ever been written on the subject. She wondered why the publishers were holding back its publication. One evening, she was eating dinner at the automat. She fell into a conversation with a man at the same table. She told him of the work she was doing and of the translation of an early Italian manuscript. He suddenly volunteered the information. You'll have a hard time getting it published because the Persian ruler's ideas conflict with the ideas of the present government. He was a student and a scholar and knew more than she did on the subject. Her question was answered, and at the automat, such information could usually be gleaned only in the archives of some public library. God works in unexpected places, his wonders to perform. She had worried about it, but when she was peaceful and happy and unconcerned, the information sailed in over a calm sea. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem stands for peace, and the feet for understanding. So understanding always brings us within the gates of peace. How can a person attain peace when his whole life is in turmoil? By taking an affirmation. You cannot control your thought, but you can control your words, and eventually the word wins out. Most people have attracted inharmonious conditions because they have been fighting their battles and carrying their burdens. We must learn to get out of God's way so that he can harmonize or adjust the situation. The word harmonize is a very good one, for I have seen crooked places made straight and adjustments. Where was I? I have seen crooked places made straight and adjustments made that no human mind could have thought of. All that the kingdom all that the kingdom affords is yours if you will give infinite intelligence right of way, for it has already supplied a lavish supply for demand. But it must be fully trusted. If you doubt or fear, you lose your contact with this supreme force. So if you are filled with doubts and fears, it is necessary to do something to show your faith. Faith without works or action is dead. Active faith impresses the subconscious with acceptance, and you keep your contract with universal intelligence. Just as Wall Street watches the market, we must watch our faith market. Often the faith market is down. Sometimes it goes down and down until a crash comes, some unhappy situation which we could have prevented. We realize we followed reason instead of intuition. A woman told me she had had several definite leads not to follow a certain course. In spite of this, she followed the reasoning mind, and great unhappiness developed from it. Intuition is our unerring guide. Practice following it in little things, then you will trust it in the big things. I have a friend who is very intuitive. She sometimes calls up and says, "I've just had a hunch to call you up, so I thought I would find out what it is about." Invariably, I have some mission for her. We are all indeed living magical lives, guided, protected, and provided for. All fear would be banished forever with the realization of this amazing system the universal has provided for man. He would be unmoved by adverse appearances, knowing, as the early Hebrews knew, that Jehovah goes before and every battle is won. A friend told me a very interesting story. A man in the paper business in Kalamazoo, Michigan, has given away 1,000 of my books to his employees. He went into business on small capital and gave up cold judgment and reasoning. He has built up a $12 million business by following leads and hunches. All his workers have a knowledge of metaphysical law. Another man who built his business upon the law of giving and receiving met with the same amazing success. He came to Philadelphia with a little money and bought a magazine, an old publication. His desire was to give the people a great deal for a very small price. He believed in the law of giving. It proved to be one of the most popular magazines. He gave the public in the best way of stories and illustrations and paid well for them. The more he gave, the more he received. Millions poured in. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy places. Peace and prosperity go hand in hand. Great peace have they that love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. This law is the law of non-resistance. Resist not evil, overcome evil with good. Transmute all failure into success, lack into plenty, and discord into peace. So I still have about 4 more pages to read, but I'm going to end right there because I don't want to make this video too long. And that does end the chapter. I'm also going to pull a postcard from Spirit for you guys. And let's just pull a card from my new deck, because why not? Got a new deck. Just pick me up to myself. A deck that I've been wanting from Amazon is on sale. Went from 26 to 17, so I went ahead and bought it. Y'all, this medicine that I've been on makes me so thirsty. Okay. Dearest, wonderful you, to help you manifest a life for the highest good, we invite you to examine your deepest desires. Imagine all your desires, no matter what kind, like magic seed pods in a basket, glowing with infinite potential. Look closely at each one. Are you afraid that some may bring you too much attention and invite negative reactions from others? Is change too daunting? Are you afraid to stretch and grow? Let yourself be led forward and let the seeds of positive intention take to the wind. Your desires count and you are worthy of them. They are essential for co-creating your world. Did you ever consider that when a desire comes from deep within you, it might be spirit moving you to create something beautiful to share with others? Some desires are infused with miraculous powers to move the heart and influence the world in ways you can't possibly know. We know you and love you so deeply and are happy to support you. So I will leave you all with that. I'm going to try to come back tonight and do my yoga sequence and my meditation with you guys, and then I may do a little bit more chatting because I've had a lot I want to say, but I don't just want to be, I don't know, I just feel so weird just talking on video. I don't know why. I should just get used to it because that's what I'm doing. But anyway, I will leave y'all with that. I hope y'all have a blessed Thursday, because I think today is Thursday, actually, not Wednesday, like I said at the beginning of this video. And I will see y'all, if not tonight, most definitely tomorrow. Make sure you comment on the video to join the conversation. Thumbs up the video to help get me into the algorithm. And make sure you subscribe so you can come back and be notified